If you want to understand the difference between the PSL and the ACP, simply look at the origin of these organizations. The American Communist Party was founded on the principle of Marxism-Leninism. It was a fracture of the CPUSA based on the principle of upholding the Constitution of the Communist Party, which the CPUSA violated. Based on the principle of the independence of the Communist Party, which the CPUSA violated by kowtowing to the Democratic Party. The ACP was founded on the principle of a singular unified communist party which does abide by its constitution and which does have its own independence and sovereignty. Look at the PSL. The PSL split also from the Workers' World Party. Why? Why did the PSL split from Workers' World? Well, they won't tell us. I've looked into this many times. I've asked a lot of people. There is no principle on which the founding of the PSL is based whatsoever. They have not demonstrated some violation of principles by Workers' World which would warrant a split. So the only thing that we can surmise about the founding of the PSL is that it is based on the desire of the Becker clique to maintain their own control over the direction of the organization. And based on how much the Beckers have profited off of the existence of PSL, we can see that it may not be limited merely to control, but by an opportunity that they saw in making a more efficient protest machine, in exploring newer avenues of the pre-existing woke left to exploit and to say, hey, you're not really woke unless you become Marxist-Leninist, which is what they do. Look at the people that founded the ACP. We have multiple groups. There's the ex-CPUSA. There's also a split from PCUSA that split based on the two-state advocacy and implicit support for Zionism of the PCUSA leadership. There is also the media and thought collectives, right, of infrared and Midwestern Marx who wanted to turn their thought, wanted to turn their analysis of America into practice, which is what is necessitated by the very basic thought of Marxism itself. These people did not all agree on the approach. They did not all already love each other and agree with everything about each other. The founding of the ACP was not a single clique at all, but rather it was a compromise, because the ACP is not based on the singular clique of leadership, but rather it is based on the whole of the American people. The ACP is founded on the principle of Marxism-Leninism, which acknowledges the role, for example, historically, of the revolutionary peasantry. In contrast to Marx, in contrast to the Trotskyists, who refused to organize rurally, refused to organize the peasantry, but only insisted on the orthodox Marxist interpretation that only the most advanced capitalist societies can form the basis for communism, and that this would need to be imposed on the rural world. This is precisely what we see in the PSL. Their founding principle is not Marxism-Leninism at all, but rather what they call Marxism and Leninism, which is a fusion of the corrupted orthodox Marxism of the Trotskyists with the Leninist principle of party organization, which is again corrupted by PSL in the way that the Becker clique sets a single ideological line. The PSL's ideological line is based on opportunism. We can see this, for example, with the example of Tina Landis, who, being an eco-activist, who came on board with PSL at one point in order to help them recruit from the green side of the left, she came on and she convinced leadership to add an anti-nuclear clause to the PSL's party program. Nothing changed. Solar technology didn't get vastly more efficient. Wind technology didn't get vastly more efficient. Nuclear technology wasn't disproven. It wasn't superseded. Nothing changed. Nuclear remains the most advanced form of energy. But what changed is that Tina came into the leadership clique and she was useful. So she got to change reality for the PSL. She got to change what people think in the PSL because she was useful. Once you can understand that the PSL is a fundamentally parasitic and opportunistic org, based on its roots, based on its origins, then you can understand why I oppose it so vehemently. It is not a petty disagreement whatsoever. People join the PSL, they are used up. They are sent into the streets to protest, which does nothing. They are used up. They give up on politics afterwards. These people should have joined the American Communist Party. And they don't. They don't. And in order for the American Communist Party to establish itself as a principled alternative, we have to differentiate ourselves from the poison which has been spewed by the pre-existing left. For this reason, I firmly and resolutely oppose the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Not on behalf of the American Communist Party, mind you. This is not a party statement. But as a member of the party, the ACP, and as a former member of the PSL who saw how they really truly operate, on principle, I firmly oppose the PSL.